good source of protein on the go. I tried to think about this one, and the only thing that I could really think about, if you're somebody that's very busy and doesn't really have time to prep meals beforehand, or if you're like always on the go, which I am very understanding of because I'm always on the go, I would say protein bars. Just try to find some with lower carb and lower fat, because some of them can be very high in carb and fat. So probably protein bars or even protein cookies. Again, make sure that the fat is a little bit lower and the carbs are a little lower, and definitely make sure you check out the serving size. But I would say go to either protein shakes or protein bars. Yes. Do I eat almonds or peanut butter on prep? My first prep, I was eating peanut butter, just because I was finding that I wasn't killing out my fat enough, and for like a serving of 32 grams, it's super high in fat. It is a better fat for you, but yeah, it's like 18 fat or something crazy like that. I don't really eat peanut butter anymore. I've never really been a nut person, so no, I don't eat almonds, just because it would be a waste of my macro intake when it's not really something that I care for. But I know a lot of other people that do eat them because almonds and peanut butter are a good source of fat, especially on prep. So no, but me personally, I don't. I'll usually stick to other spreads, and usually that'll be cookie butter. So, and that is lower fat. What to eat before working out and how long before should I eat? So for me, preferably, it takes the body around 2 hours to really break down carbs, as far as like an energy source for you to use. So I'll probably try and keep my meals before I work out like 2 hours before or an hour and a half before. I don't usually do it right before I go work out, just because I find that like I'll feel it start kind of grumbling in my stomach when I am working out. So it's just better as far as energy expenditure and the usage of the carbs. So I would recommend 2 hours before. And then as far as afterwards, there's this whole big theory about like, oh, you have to get in protein before, you have to get in protein as soon as after. I would say no to that, but I would say just for muscle protein synthesis, as far as muscle growth and repairing and stuff like that, it is good to get in protein, at least 20 grams of it, 4 hours before waking up, or 4 hours within waking up, and 4 hours after your workout, somewhere in between there. It doesn't have to be instantly after. So yes. Yeah, and working out, it just really depends. If I know that I'm going in there and I'm gonna be doing like a longer workout, which would probably be my heavier leg day, I'll eat slower digesting carbs like wheat or like oats and stuff like that. But if it's just gonna be like a quick pumpy workout, you know, like a upper, maybe shoulder or back, thigh, whatever, just like a quick workout where it's not a whole lot on my nervous system, I could just kind of eat whatever. Either slower digesting carbs like wheatier type carbs, or like tortillas and just anything that'd be faster digesting, I guess. All right, guys. Oh, how much caffeine do I have in a day, and do I take pre-workout and caffeine the same day? So this was actually a question. I mean, obviously with everything, moderation is good. I actually researched it a little bit because I wasn't really too sure. I try to keep my intake as far as milligrams under 800. I feel like with anything, moderation is good. There's been studies on the amount of caffeine that you have. It's totally fine as long as it's not in excess, just along with everything else. But then again, caffeine or coffee caffeine is a stimulant, so you don't want too much of any stimulant. Me preferably, I try to add, like if I drink too much, it'll be like maybe 2 grande cups of coffee. But some days I will have an excessive amount, like when I'm super tired. It's not often, but it does happen, just like with everybody else. So yes, most of the time for pre-workouts, I will actually drink coffee for my pre-workout. I'll drink like a cup of coffee. I never double them up like some people would do. I just feel like that would just get your heart rate going like way too much, and it's it's not gonna make you burst of energy and like go kill your workout. It's just gonna make you feel like shaky and anxiety. So no, I don't ever double them up. I'll usually just either have pre-workout right before my workout, or I'll have coffee. But yes, sometimes I do have them in the same day. Like I will have coffee and then before my workout I will have pre-workout. So yes. So I told you some of these were personal questions and some of these were fitness questions, and this is actually a question that I get often, so I thought I would just elaborate a little bit on it. Have I ever had a breast augmentation, and how do I maintain my boobs when I diet? So guys, I'm sorry to break the news to you. I have no idea how I have the size of boobs that I do have, because my mom and my sister both don't really have big boobs. My aunts and my grandmas do, so I'm guessing it just skipped a generation and voila. But basically I am just very fortunate. My boobs are real. I've never had a breast augmentation, nothing like that. And for some weird reason, they do shrink somewhat when I do diet. They don't stay fully as big as they are, and when I was heavier they were obviously even bigger, if you could even imagine that. But no, I never have had a breast augmentation. My boobs are real, and I am just very fortunate to where when I lose a lot of weight they kind of just stay the same size. So I'm sorry guys, but that is the honest to God truth. So yes, for all of you guys wondering, or women mostly, because most people who have asked me that question were women. Yeah, I'm just really fortunate. So, steroids, how do I feel about them? If I'm for them, if I'm against them, blah, 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 you get the question. So, when it comes to steroids, I am an all-natural athlete. I would never personally take steroids. I know people that do, and I will say that I think they are freaking ridiculous and amazing what they do for the body. As far as the muscle that you can obtain within a year, it's just insane. It's crazy. Obviously I know people that use them personally, and I just know that in the IFBB world and NPC world, it's something that is unsaid, but we all know that people use them, because there's no way that you are able to obtain certain amounts of muscle as a woman, or the pounds that you put on as a man per year if you were not running steroids. So with that being said, I personally would never take steroids. I have nothing against them. I think they're legit, but it is something that I would never personally do morals wise. Current macro ratio, and do I carb cycle? So I am currently on a little bit lower than my maintenance. My maintenance probably sits around like 50 fats, 250 carb, and maybe like 120 protein. I have a very, very good metabolism, and again, I'm very fortunate for that, especially for a girl. Those are really high macros. But currently I am on 40 fat. It depends. Some days if I don't kill out my carbs or whatever, and I just feel like I could just cut out some carbs, I'll do 170 carb, but usually I'm doing 200 carbs per day, and protein 120. Favorite form of cardio, and would I ever consider doing powerlifting? So my favorite form of cardio would actually be just like, I call it freestyle running. I don't know, I'm weird, whatever. Literally would be running outside when I can. During prep, I don't really have energy to do that. It sounds weird, but I'd rather just be like on a stationary like cardio, just doing my little grandma power walk that you guys might see on my Snapchat that I do. But that would be one of my favorite forms of cardio, would be just running outside on a nice day. Running outside, or another form would actually be HIIT cardio, and in like intervals, like 30 seconds, just going as fast as you can, like sprinting down a track, and then stop and resting for like 1 minute. Like that would just be an example of a HIIT cardio. And powerlifting, this is something that I want to touch on. I will be competing in a powerlifting meet coming up soon. I'm actually waiting on getting my program soon here. But yes, I will be competing in a powerlifting meet early next year or the end of this year. So stay tuned. How much cardio do I do in one day on prep? This is a good one. So basically, during my first prep, I was more closer to my stage weight. So I was probably doing around 250 calories of cardio on days that I trained, which would be 5 days out of 7. And then the off days, which were 2 days out of the 7 days, I would do 500 calories leading all the way up into my show. That's what I did. But my second time around, I was a little bit heavier. So probably like 2 weeks before going into my second show, I was literally doing 600 calories of cardio every single day, even days that I trained. So in the beginning of my second prep, I was doing probably around 300 calories of cardio every day. But then 2 weeks beforehand, going into my show, I was literally doing 600 calories of cardio every day. And that got really, really intense. Yes, prep could be crazy sometimes, guys, but yeah, so I hope that answered your question on how much cardio that I was doing. So, how to maintain your hair when you're in the gym 2 times or whatever longer in the gym, and especially for me, this definitely pertains to me and for girls in the gym. The trick would probably be dry shampoo, because just like you guys, I probably only wash my hair like once or twice a week at the most. And as a fitness girl, you know, especially if you incorporate cardio every day into your lifting, that you sweat a whole lot. So dry shampoo, and honestly guys, sometimes you just have to thug it out and you just have to have crusty hair for a while. But dry shampoo comes in and helps you guys with that. And so yeah, that is what I would suggest. Sometimes you gotta thug it out. Most memorable bikini show. My most memorable bikini show would definitely be my first show. The reason being is because I actually had a ton of support at that show. I was very fortunate. I probably had like 20 people there, from friends to family members, and it was just an overwhelming experience because it's your first show, you're learning a whole bunch of different things. It's your first experience being on stage and just like getting that feeling. You know, you either fall in love with the sport or you don't, and I definitely fell in love with the sport. And I placed really, really well, so I was really fortunate. I did bust my ass to get the placings that I did, but there was also girls that I stepped on stage with that, you know, brought it just as much as I did, and I placed really well my first show. So that being said, the support that I had and just placing really well and my overall first experience was amazing. So definitely my first show. It's my favorite cheat meal. I really tried thinking about it. I've never been the type of person that has a huge appetite. What really changed my perspective on food was until after I prepped, which a lot of people can agree with who have prepped and understand that struggle. So basically, what I would count for me as a cheat meal would be something that's I know would be like super heavy in fat, and obviously would probably be a day that or something that I don't count. But if it would have to be a cheat meal, it would either be enchiladas from a Mexican restaurant with beans and rice, and a lot of chips and salsa, or it would have to be a huge pasta dish from any Italian restaurant, I guess you could say. I don't know if that's boring or what, but that would be my cheat meals, guys. And obviously I wouldn't count it. So yeah, that'd be my cheat meal. So that wraps it up. I am not sure how many videos I'm gonna split this into, but that was a very successful first Q&A, and I am excited to get another one started for you guys. So fester up those questions in your brain, guys, and let me know what you want to know.